Hello everyone and welcome to this video wherein we will be launching our NMAT 24 crash course. Now this is a special offering by Point 99 after our successful launch of the CAT Mastery program. Now the CAT Mastery program was used by a lot of our students and they were really happy with the program. So we thought of launching the NMAT 24 crash course as well. And as far as the brains behind this course goes, this entire course has been designed by me and I have scored a 297 at NMAT last year. I've also been a CAT 100 percentiler and I've been training aspirants for more than 15 years now. So let's get going and let's try to see what the NMAT is all about and where does this crash course come into the picture. So the first thing, you might be wondering, is there any preparation required to crack the NMAT? या NMAT भी CAT जैसे ही crack हो जाएगा. Now, of course, NMAT is a very specialized test and it is conducted by NMIMS and it's conducted by GMAC rather, but it's conducted for admission into NMIMS and other affiliated colleges. Now, NMIMS in itself is a prestigious brand name and of course, if you want to get into NMIMS, there is no other way except taking the NMAT. That is why NMAT is required in terms of your exam season, because if you want to hedge your chances, you want to get into a decent college and get a good placement at the end of it, NMIMS is as good an option as many of the other colleges that exist. Now, why is NMAT preparation required? Now, by now you would have realized that NMAT requires a lot of specialized skills for you to be able to crack this test. Now, when I say specialized skills, what does it mean? So in terms of the CAT, you will have 2 hours to answer 66 questions. Now, I'm sure that many of you will not be answering 66 questions. You will be targeting somewhere around say 35 to 40 questions. Now, to answer 35 to 40 questions correctly, you are given a good amount of time. 120 minutes is what you have been given. Now, that basically translates into 3 to 4 minutes per question on an average if you are a decent enough candidate. Now, in terms of the NMAT, the preparation goes slightly differently because this is an out and out speed test. In fact, in one of the sections, you will have to solve the test at a pace of faster than 1 minute per question. And that is basically where you have to be mentally prepared to deal with NMAT. Also, the kind of questions that appear at the NMAT are different compared to what you get at the CAT. So in terms of the topics that exist, I will tell you a few topics that you might not have encountered when it comes to the CAT. First of all, to start with the verbal ability / reading comprehension section, if you are looking at the language skills section that corresponds to this section at the NMAT, you will see topics appearing along the lines of say analogies, vocabulary, fill in the blanks, grammar, prepositions and so on. So all these topics you might not have seen at the CAT. So these are the topics that you will need to prepare for separately. The second thing that I'm talking about is in terms of the logical reasoning section. And this is basically where your preparation will change by a lot. In terms of the CAT, you were looking at the logical reasoning section in terms of sets. But in terms of the NMAT, you might be able to, or you might have to solve questions that are individualistic in nature, which means that you will have one question that will expect you to find what is the reasoning behind that particular statement or a particular paragraph, and then you might have to answer it in the form of say a verbal reasoning question. That could be possible. You might also have non-verbal reasoning questions, which might involve some puzzles wherein you might be given some numbers at the 4 vertices of a square and you might be expected to figure out what will be the number inside the square. Or if something like this happens in one of these squares, what will happen in another square. You might also be expected to figure out answers to questions that involve coding and decoding. So there might be some code that might be given to you and you will be expected to figure out what that code is and then figure out what will be the code for another word, let's say. These kind of things can be there. Directions, blood relations are all question types that are peculiar to the NMAT. Also, you might see questions on sequential output, wherein you enter a string and there are a lot of iterations that happen at the end of which the entire string is changed. You have to figure out how exactly will a string that has been given to you react if it is put in the same machine. So all these kind of things you will have to study. In terms of quant, a lot doesn't change because the basics of quant will remain the same, the formulas remain the same. You are expected to learn almost 60 to 70% of what you would have learned for the CAT. But in addition to that, you also have to be good with this particular thing called data sufficiency. Also, there is one small topic called quantitative comparison. And these topics are not native to the CAT and they will appear at the NMAT. So you have to be mentally prepared to deal with all these topics that I just mentioned. And that is why NMAT preparation is required. So you will have to prepare for the NMAT in addition to preparing for the CAT. Now, what exactly happens at the NMAT? So first of all, if I were to tell you what NMAT looks like, of course there's a separate video which discusses what the differences are between NMAT and the CAT. I'll put the link to that video in the description box below. Do check that out. But strategy will play a big role when it comes to the NMAT. You will have to select the order in which you are going to attempt the test before you start with the test. So it's not as if you start the test and then randomly you choose that I will do this section first, then I will have a look at a couple of questions, then I will go back to the previous section. वैसे नहीं चलेगा. You have to decide what should be the order in which you are going to attempt the sections. ये तो पहली बात है. Second thing, you have to understand when is it that you are going to leave a particular question, because there is no going back and forth when it comes to the questions. So you will not be able to go to the 36th question, let's say, and figure out कि वो क्या question था 36th question जो था. So those kind of things you will not be able to do. That's why your strategy has to be spot on. You have to understand what is the order that you prefer and how exactly do you go about solving this entire test. So strategy will play a very important role. CAT focus to other tests is very difficult to maintain, because what happens in case of institutes as well, in case of your preparation as well, इतना सारा energy CAT के अंदर लोग डाल देते हैं that when it comes to other tests, people have very less fuel left in the tank. तो होता यह है that 90% of the time you are preparing for CAT and बाकी सिर्फ 10% बचता है. And you could have done amazing things in life, you could have cracked a good test and उसके बाद you could have got a good score, but because वो focus नहीं है जितना CAT के ऊपर था, वहाँ पे you will fumble. In case of a lot of institutes, and I'm speaking by experience, it happens that a lot of effort is spent into building the CAT program that is there. तो काफ़ी सारा उसके अंदर फोकस चला जाता है while designing the material that is there, designing the tests that are there and so on and so forth. But जो बाकी टेस्ट होते हैं उस पर इतना ज़्यादा फोकस नहीं आता. By now, if you have joined some institute, you would have realized that attendance बहुत नीचे चला गया है, and there are hardly 10 to 20% of the people in your batch who had started with you in that particular batch. If you are not attending that particular batch, you are one of the people who are absentees, right? तो ये focus ना धीरे धीरे निकल जाता है, and then it carries forward to the other tests as well, non-CAT tests as well. तो यहाँ पे focus वापस लेके आना is extremely important. That is why you have to prepare for the NMAT with all your might. And last thing, just because it is an additional test to the CAT doesn't mean that it is less competitive. If you look at the kind of seats that are available and the kind of people who take the test, अब NMAT का exact number generally release नहीं होता, but the estimate is anywhere between 30,000 to 50,000 to 60,000. तो इतने सारे लोग NMAT देते हैं, and most of them are vying for the top 2 or 3 colleges through the NMAT. अब NMAT के colleges के ranking का video भी एक I will put it in the comments in the description box below and in the pinned comment. So do check that out. वहाँ पे we will see what all colleges are there and what should you aspire for if you are at a certain percentile. तो ये बहुत ज़्यादा competitive test होता है, and because of that you need to have a lot of focus in terms of being or cracking the NMAT. Now coming to the crash course that we have. We have designed a nice crash course for all of you who have been preparing for the CAT and who have some basics in place, या फिर you are very serious about attempting the NMAT. तो those of you who are serious about cracking the NMAT, ये crash course उनके लिए है, right? If you are not very sure of cracking the NMAT या register ही नहीं किया है, या you believe that this course will help you crack the SNAP or something, so this is not going to be that course. This will be focused purely on the NMAT. And we will have a lot of elements from the official guide, because the official guide that is made available with the NMAT is going to be your Bible, so to say, when it comes to preparing for the NMAT, because वहाँ पे सारे topics होंगे जो test में आ सकते हैं. So as a part of this, there will be 10 live sessions that I will be conducting. And I have designed all the 10 sessions, all the questions have been designed by me, and I will be delivering all these 10 sessions, live sessions that are going to happen. And of course, I have scored a 297 at the NMAT last year, so that is my most recent attempt. Even before that, I have scored a 99 percentile in all sections and overall, when the highest percentile used to be 99. So there has been a good pedigree in terms of scoring well at NMAT and speed tests in general. So all these sessions will be done by me, so no need to worry about it. You are in safe hands. Now, in this particular crash course, what we are going to do is we are also going to cover theory and shortcuts. So CAT mastery program के अंदर we solved a lot of questions, but यहाँ पे we are also going to cover theory. Of course, I have divided the entire syllabus into 9 different sessions that we have. At हर एक session के अंदर we will cover something. Now I'll come to the detailed timetable on the next slide, but अभी के लिए just understand that we are going to cover theory and shortcuts as a part of this crash course. In addition to this, or the theory that we are going to cover will be supplemented by 500 मोस्ट एक्सपेक्टेड क्वेश्चंस विथ डिटेल्ड वीडियो सॉल्यूशंस। तो हर एक क्वेश्चन का डिटेल्ड वीडियो सॉल्यूशन होगा अक्रॉस दी 3 सेक्शंस एंड दिस शुड बी गुड इनफ फॉर यू टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट द पल्स ऑफ द एनमैट लुक्स लाइक। तो ये सारी चीजें करके यू विल बी मेंटली प्रिपेयर टू डील विद द एनमैट। इसके आगे और कोई सरप्राइज नहीं होना चाहिए एट द टेस्ट। I will also be taking the NMAT on the first day itself. That's why you will be able to get a good idea of what NMAT looks like. So that is basically one thing that we will be doing. Most expected questions यहाँ पे आएंगे with video solutions. In addition to that, we have tied up with Test Funda to provide you with area tests. So there are 50 area tests that are going to happen. So जो भी यहाँ पे areas है pertinent to the NMAT, उसके लिए आपको tests मिल जाएंगे. So you can just sign up for the program and you will get complimentary access to these tests as well. 12 sectional tests will also be a part of your program, जहाँ पे you will be able to go through the various sections that are there, 3 sections that are there, quantitative skills, language skills and logical reasoning. ये तीनों सेक्शन के 12 टेस्ट्स आपको मिल जाएंगे। 10 full length mocks will be there. All these mocks are going to be computer based. Computer based meaning that they are not going to be adaptive per se, but they will give you a good idea of what NMAT looks like, what kind of questions appear at the NMAT, and the scores that you are going to get at these mocks will be a good indicator of what you might score at the actual test. So this is basically going to be the offering that is there, and this is not the entire thing. There is also going to be a Telegram channel that is dedicated for your needs. So all those people who enroll with us for this program will be added to a special channel. वहाँ पे if you have a doubt, something that you need more focus on, more clarity on, you can definitely let us know and we will arrange for something. So that is basically going to be the entire offering of this year's crash course for the NMAT. Now in terms of the timelines that are there, we will be starting with the program on the 21st of October. Why 21st of October? Because that gives you ample time to prepare for the CAT as well. So 21st October को हमारा first session होगा, that is going to be QS1 quantitative skills 1, which will be the session on arithmetic. इसके अंदर हम लोग arithmetic के सारे concepts that are required, we will cover those concepts that are there. We will also solve some additional questions that might be useful to you when it comes to cracking the questions that are based on arithmetic. This will be followed by language skills 1. So reading comprehension पूरा देख लेंगे हम 22nd October को. We will look at those skills that are required for you to crack the RC passages when it comes to the NMAT specifically. 23rd October, third day, so it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday batch. यहाँ पे LR1 का session होगा, that will be based on puzzles. So we'll try to see all the kinds of puzzles that appear at the NMAT. Then 27th, 28th, 29th will be the next set of sessions that will be there, and 30th of course. So 27th we will be doing a live NMAT solving session for all of you, for the benefit of those of you who have enrolled with us. We will be doing a live solving session when it comes to the NMAT. वहाँ पे we will also be able to do the second set of sessions before the NMAT starts, which are going to be QS2, which will deal with algebra and probability. So these are clubbed together at the NMAT. तो वो एक session होगा जिसमें we will discuss all the theory that is pertinent to algebra and probability. 29th October, we will look at the most commonly asked rules and some obscure rules when it comes to the grammar section of the NMAT as well. 30th October, we will have LR2, which will focus on deductions and critical reasoning. Then 11th, 12th, 13th. So we will go on a break for Diwali. Those of you who are celebrating, you can take a break. Plus those of you who are also preparing for the CAT can use that time to focus a bit more on the CAT. And उस टाइम पे NMAT start हो चुका होगा, so we will get more idea in terms of what exactly the test looks like this year. If you ask me, nothing should change because it has been consistent over the last many years now. तो बहुत ज़्यादा changes नहीं दिखने चाहिए. But in case there are any, we'll incorporate into the sessions as well. So 11th November को we will have a QS3 section where we will be focusing on DI. 12th November we'll be looking at language skills, third section that we will have. So paragraph formation, then sentence completion, analogies, ये सारे topics वहाँ पे देखेंगे. And 13th November will be the last session of this batch, wherein we are going to have an LR3 section which will be based on miscellaneous reasoning. So कुछ भी miscellaneous type के questions आते हैं, that is what we are going to cover. Now, what are you supposed to do in this particular context? One, go through the NMAT syllabus video that is already up on the YouTube channel to get a very good idea of what kind of questions are asked at the NMAT. उसके अंदर मैंने काफ़ी डिटेल तरीके से वीडियो बनाया है जहाँ पे I have spoken about all the topics and subtopics that are expected at the NMAT. Sample questions भी उसके अंदर है, तो you will be able to get a very good idea of what NMAT looks like if you go through that video. So that video should be good enough for you to figure out कि NMAT का syllabus क्या होता है. Then there is another video जिसका लिंक मैं नीचे डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में डाल दूंगा, which is NMAT versus CAT comparison. कि टेस्ट वाइज दोनों में डिफरेंस क्या है, कॉलेजेस वाइज डिफरेंस क्या है, हु शुड बी टेकिंग विच टेस्ट, हाउ शुड यू प्रिपेयर फॉर द टेस्ट. तो एक छोटा सा वीडियो होगा ऑन एनमैट वर्सेस कैट का कंपैरिजन. सो डू हैव अ लुक एट दैट एज वेल इफ यू वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड कि कैट प्रिपरेशन से एनमैट प्रिपरेशन डिफरेंट कैसे होता है. Then there is an NMAT official mock live solving session that, depending on when you're watching this video, we would have already done or we would be doing. So that official mock live solving session will be up on the YouTube channel. Uska bhi link will put in the description box below. Do check that out to understand what is the strategy that I follow when I appear for the NMAT. तो वो सारा चीज़ वहाँ पता चल जाएगा कि मेरे ऑर्डर ऑफ सेक्शंस क्या होते हैं, हाउ डू आई पेस माई सेल्फ थ्रू आउट द एंटायर टेस्ट, कैसे मतलब व्हेन डू आई डिसाइड टू लेट गो ऑफ अ पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन. ये सारी चीज़ें वहाँ पे हमें समझ में आ जाएंगी. NMAT colleges ranking का एक और वीडियो विल बी देयर बेस्ड ऑन कॉलेजेस दैट एक्सेप्ट द NMAT स्कोर. तो उसका पूरा एक रैंकिंग का वीडियो होगा. अगेन इट्स गोइंग टू बी अ शॉर्ट वीडियो. जस्ट मेक श्योर दैट यू हैव अ लुक एट दैट वीडियो एज वेल सो दैट यू आर एबल टू अप्लाई टू कॉलेजेस और एबल टू रैंक द कॉलेजेस दैट कंसिडर द NMAT. So ये सारी चीज़ें you can do. And the last thing, of course, you have to enroll for the program if you have to crack the NMAT, because this will give you that edge. जहाँ पे मतलब I'll be sharing my shortcuts, I'll be sharing my insights into the test, the preparation, and the kind of strategy that you need to crack the NMAT. So make sure that you enroll for this program. This program is available for an early bird price of only 2,999 rupees. So 2,999 inclusive of GST. So make sure that you enroll at the earliest. We have limited seats for this program. So once we hit that threshold, we will close the admission for this program. So ensure that you enroll with us at the earliest. The program is going to start on the 21st of October. So make sure that you are enrolled before that so that you are a part of the batch and you start your preparation as early as you can. I hope to see a lot of you attending the sessions that we are going to have, and I hope to see a lot of interaction on the Telegram channel and during the sessions as well. And of course, if you end up doing everything that we discussed during the sessions, I'm sure that you will end up cracking the NMAT, getting a call from NMIMS, and of course, giving your chances a big boost when it comes to getting into one of the top B schools of the country. So wish you all the best for the test. Make sure that you stay tuned to this channel. Make sure that you are looking at all the different things that we are doing on this channel, and also you sign up for this particular program.